Faking faith, the pressure to conform. Social pressure is the invisible weight that pushes the mind to hide its questions, to play along, to pretend. It shows up in classrooms where students laugh at jokes they don't find funny. It shows up in churches where voices sing louder than hearts believe. It shows up at family tables where silence is chosen over honesty, because honesty would cost too much. The world calls this belonging, but it is really fear in disguise. A Course in Miracles teaches that faith makes the power of belief, and where it is invested determines its reward. Faith is not weak or fragile. It is always strong, but its effects change depending on where it is placed. When faith is placed in fear, the reward is pain. When faith is placed in love, the reward is peace. That is why the ego tries to hijack faith through pressure. Without pressure, the ego cannot survive. Picture the puppet string dangling from a shoulder in a darkened pew. Everyone else lifts their hands in unison, but one figure sits tense, head bowed, caught between honesty and expectation. The string is broken, but the pressure is still felt. This is forced faith, an outward performance that hides an inward conflict. The image of sewing lips shut with coarse twine makes the same point. Every stitch is chosen, even if chosen in fear. The blood is the price of pretending. And yet, even through the stitches, a white dove struggles to emerge. The dove is faith itself, effortless and whole, waiting to be freed. Forced faith traps the dove, but true faith cannot be taken away. It only waits for the mind to release it. Think about social media. How many people post verses or inspirational quotes that do not match their daily lives? The goal is not truth but approval. Likes become the new amen, and conformity replaces connection. But the result is exhaustion, because performance always drains the performer. A Course in Miracles says, your capacity for allegiance to a thought system may be misplaced, but it is still a form of faith and can be redirected. Faith is never broken. It is simply misused. Placed in appearances, faith feels heavy, like chains dragging across stone. Placed in truth, faith feels light, like a boat carried by the current. Families can pressure belief too. A child may be told they must pray a certain way or else they are lost. A teenager may be warned that questioning the pastor is rebellion. An adult may stay silent about their doubts to keep peace at home. Each one is told that love is conditional and belonging must be earned. But the Course teaches that God wills His Son to be in heaven and nothing can keep Him from it. There is no pressure in this promise, only certainty. Pressure always signals illusion, because truth never needs to be forced. Truth is the only game in town. Where else could the mind go but back to what is real? The illusion is that many choices exist, but in the end, there are only two: faith in fear or faith in love. The assembly line metaphor makes this clear. People move forward on a conveyor belt, masks on, heading toward the same glowing door. The pressure is to keep moving, to not step aside, to blend in. But one person stops. They step off the belt. They hold their mask in their hand, face bare, lit by soft golden light. That act of refusal breaks the illusion of force. Because the truth is this: no one can actually force faith. Words can be recited, but trust cannot be coerced. Actions can be pressured, but inner conviction cannot be stolen. The Course reminds us, faith makes the power of belief, and where it is invested determines its reward. Invested in the ego, the reward is conflict. Invested in spirit, the reward is rest. Faith is not strain. Faith is not clenched fists or forced smiles. Faith is rest, trust, and release. It is the mind leaning back into what has always been true. Forced faith is not faith at all. It is fear acting out a part. But genuine faith is effortless because it aligns with what is real. No pressure is needed to hold up the sky. No effort is needed to make the sun rise. And no force is needed to believe in what is already true. To fake faith is to exhaust the mind. To free faith is to remember the gift that never left. And when faith is freed, the dove takes flight, carrying the mind back to peace. Witness, if you will, a world where faith is no longer a gift but a performance. Where silence is sewn shut, not by truth but by pressure. Where the dove of peace beats its wings against the stitches of conformity. This is the price of faking faith, a burden carried in secret, an act repeated until even the actor forgets the role was never real. But step off the belt, cut the string, remove the mask, and what remains is faith itself, untouched, unforced, free. You have just left the dim stage of forced belief and stepped into the bright and timeless theater of the Twilight Zone.